Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. My name is Natalie Michon. I am your life coach sister friend.
Okay.
And my co-host here,
I'm Phoenix Gray, and I am a financial mentor for youngsters. So consider me like an auntie for the kids,
the rich auntie.
teaching them about money and financial literacy. I'm also a real estate investor, a wife, and mom.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I love them.
You
But
have
we're gonna get into that.
Okay, let's get into it. So let's talk about the purpose of our podcast and
Yes.
why we're actually here.
Yes. While we're here, so we're the Game Changer Podcast. We're here to ignite all of those beautiful women out there that are working to be successful, working to just get that bag, right? But still find that balance between faith, family, themselves, while they're in pursuit of success. So that's what
Absolutely.
Game Changer is. We're here for all of those beautiful women out there that are out there changing the game, but we still want to have that balance in everything that's happening, that harmony.
That's
Because
right.
sometimes balance is hard to say.
Right. It's all about the harmony and being able to juggle those things that we know we basically go through on a day-to-day basis,
Yes.
right? And what that means. And it's for everybody, it's different. But I think as women, we know it's especially challenging, right? Being the mom, being the wife, being a businesswoman, being a stay-at-home mom, if you will, taking care of yourself, staying true to your faith, all of those things, really.
All of those things.
All those components. So I'm excited. This is our very first episode, and we really are super excited to be here.
This is episode 1.
Yes.
So let's get started. We're about to have this dope conversation about really kind of starting off with defining your empire.
Exactly. And looking at what the meaning of success is, because that could be very subjective depending on who you speak to. Success for you might be different and might look different than what success for me may look like, right? So just understanding that there are different components of success, right? And really drilling down to thinking about what success means for you. So we'll kind of go through some of those components and, just have a conversation about really what some of the elements are that make up success. So one of the ones that come to mind is personal achievement, okay? So that could be getting a project completed, right? So for example, right now, I'm in the middle of a flip. And to me, that's a huge project, right? So the end goal is obviously to be able to come through and have that be completed successfully. Or earning a degree, or even just getting your high school diploma could be something of a personal achievement, right? So that would be a big element that one would look at and say, okay, I was able to achieve that because I completed this by a specific time frame, or a particular goal that I had in mind or that I wanted to reach for myself.
Right. Even with you have your personal success, you have professional success. So with professional success, that's more of, kind of, especially those climbing the corporate ladder, those, those different milestones of growing from, it could be from anybody that's still in a 5-figure job, going into 6 figures, going into 7 figures. So those are kind of like your professional successes.
Yes.
One thing I'll remember for me, like a professional success, because I own multiple companies. So my professional success could be I operated a business in the black.
Okay. Right.
I got through that black. I mean, I'm still in the black, right? I done doggy paddled through the red, but then got into that black. So there's different things that people can use. That's what we use. It's just ways to look at just where we are right now, and then it was a success just to hit record
Okay.
today.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
we've been talking about this for months, so we're so happy and excited to finally be here and on the path of really being able to provide that value and sharing some of our experiences and bringing a lot of information and tips to our ladies out there that are watching that you can incorporate in your lives that's going to make you elevate and be successful as well.
Yes.
So we talked about personal and professional success, and then there's financial, right? So, and again, that looks different for everybody. So financial could be just meeting a specific monetary goal. Perhaps your goal is to save, I don't know, save $10,000 within a year, right? And being able to meet that goal. Sometimes it's about budgeting and really looking to see how you're spending money from a day-to-day perspective and allocating funds to say, okay, I don't think that I really need to pick up this particular purchase this week. I'm going to hold off until it's something that I truly need, and just making those decisions that's going to put you in a better place financially.
Yeah.
So that's huge. That's huge because I think that a lot of us don't really sit down and map out our goals from a financial perspective. Sometimes we just spend and then we look back and we're like, holy crap. Where did the money go? How did I get to this point where my bank account is not reflecting what I've been pulling in, right?
Right.
So success, again, really means just looking at each of those components. And financial, I think, is a huge place that we really need to spend more time on. But that, again, is something that we can, look to hopefully put some goals and parameters around to be successful at being able to meet our specific financial goals that we have from either a monthly basis or a yearly basis.
Yeah. I'll say something about financial is I remember I was in a meeting, I was in a conference, and they helped me put something in perspective as far as like financial goals, as far as figuring out what your zero is. Right? And then so when he said figure out what your zero is, everybody in the room had a different zero. You know what I'm saying? So somebody's zero may be like $1,000. That's like their zero. So they should have $1,000, but like if they're at that $1,000, that means I have no money.
Right.
Right? Not I have $1,000 left. Like that means I have no money. Then there's some people that wrote down that my zero was 10,000. That means I should not go
Get
below 10,000. You know what I'm saying? So
what's your zero?
you know what? Now, so well. Right now, my zero is like 10,000. It's kind of like my zero, but I had to grow. Oh, I had to grow from, 100. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I just had to kind of grow through it. So, but I'm glad like now I can probably say that that's like 10,000, and then that's sitting, like that's kind of tucked away to where I can't easily touch it. Because if you have it sitting somewhere, like I can't put it in the way my checking and my savings connects. Like,
Right.
I'll be done said, let me move this over. You know what I'm saying? What about you?
So there was a period of time where the actual zero was a zero. It was like a flat zero. And it's never cool to be in that space wondering, holy hell, like you had nothing to fall back on. God forbid something happened to the car or I had a flat, like where's the money gonna come from? So, thankfully I've gotten myself to a space where I have enough of a cushion. I'm working towards where my zero is 100,000. Am I there yet? No. I'm probably like in the middle somewhere, but that's a goal that I definitely want to achieve, where my rock bottom is 100 grand.
And that comes with like diligence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And being intentional.
Yeah.
Paying attention to, what you're doing. When you're not paying attention, those little things that you don't think about, those little like monthly subscriptions
No,
and,
seriously.
eating out all the time. Like it really makes a huge impact.
Yeah. And then relationships.
Ooh,
Let's
that's
talk about
big.
like
That's big.
defining success in relationships. That could either be like marriage or friendships. Like I'm grateful for our friendship.
Aww. As am I.
Yes, she gonna cry in the car. But no, it's but like relationships are a currency. Relationships are the true currency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one thing about currency is it's fluid. And so, but having true friends and true relationships are like invaluable because you never know like what doors that those open. But then
Absolutely.
there's some women out there that have abusive relationships. And it's not always abusive like physically, but it's abusive as far as I'm giving something to people that I'm not getting in return. So being able to identify that and being able to know when to say no or know when to let go. You know what I mean? I love the kind of the little fable or story about when you have a tree, and I'd look at relationships and I can reference it to a tree. So there's all of these different parts to a tree.
Right.
Right? You have the body, the trunk of the tree, you have the roots of the tree, you have the branches, and you have the leaves. All of them play a different role, right? And so even for like the root of the tree, those are relationships that are deep. So I know you remember from my birthday, I had relationships that are totally like 14 years. No, 34 years, I think was the longest. 34 years, 30 years. One of the youngest relationships was like 2 years. However, there's 8 women there that were all over 20 years of friendship. Those are roots. Those are my roots. You know what I mean? Then there's the trunk of and those roots are more protected. Those are deep. And then you have like the trunk of the tree. And the trunk of the tree, that can be cut. Somebody can come cut
Right.
that. However, it's still solid. It'll take like some work to damage it, but it's a solid. And then you have the branches. The branches can break at any time. A bad storm could come through and tear off
And
that branch.
yeah,
But that branch is there for some years.
I love that analogy.
You know what I
I love
mean?
that. Yeah, how you
And then you
broke
have
that
those
down.
leaves. They change when the season.
Right, right.
I had several of those. But then what I remember like looking at some of those trees, some of those leaves that would come in seasons. I remember I was in a position to where I tried to rake up them leaves and keep them for the next season. And
We got to talk more about that. That sounds like an episode.
That might be
in
an
and of
episode.
itself.
That might be a full episode. But the relationships.
Yeah.
That's like defining your success is when you can look at the relationships that you have around you and know that you're giving out and you're receiving what you're giving out. Because, I'll tell my kids, like, you have to be the friend that you want
Right.
too. And that goes for marriages as well. You have to be the
Absolutely.
spouse, that you want. And then, being able your spouse needs to reciprocate that.
Yeah, it's definitely a give and take, and it takes work. It does take work. And for me, I think what truly defines success from a relationship standpoint is my own just family dynamics, the relationship that I have with my husband and my son and my siblings. I truly value that, and I feel like, it does take work because you do have to make sure that you're putting the time in. It's not just about just having conversation, but actually spending quality time with those that you love, right? One other element that I think is important is health and wellness, right? About just taking care of the physical self and your mental well-being. And I'll tell you, that's a big challenge for me because, again, like everything else, you have to be intentional about making sure you're taking care of yourself. And for us as women, we forget to do those things that keep us sane. We're constantly worrying about other people, our spouses, our children, our, coworkers or our employees, our jobs, projects, right? And we always kind of get put to the bottom of the totem pole, right? So that's something that for me, it's a constant work in progress. So recently just joined the gym. I'm excited about that.
We joined together.
We joined together. And I think in the beginning, we kept each other going. You know, it was like, hey, you went to the gym this morning, and just knowing that you were going kind of compelled me to make sure that I was getting up and, you know, meeting you at the gym. But it's maintaining that consistency.
Right.
That's the biggest challenge for me. Not just the physical, but also the mental. And making sure that that's not forgotten. Because it's easy to say, okay, I know I need to eat the right things and I know I need to exercise, but are you taking that space and time to just be in a position where you can really just have a woosah moment, right? And just be able to just kind of put everything to the side and really just look within. And to be honest, that's something that I don't do very often. And it's one of those things that I think, you know, when you look at all of the different elements of what truly makes you successful, that probably is one of the ones that I don't spend as much time and attention and focus on as I should. So it's a work in progress, guys.
Yes.
And we'll continue to talk through those things because I know that there's women out there that's probably in the same boat and can relate to what I'm saying. And, you know, our goal is to basically let you know, like, we're here because we've gone through the same challenges and the same pitfalls and some of those things that we know we have to either figure out a way around it or decide that we want to become a better version, you know, at a component throughout our lives, and being really, really intentional about putting in the work that it takes to become successful at that. And for me, that the mental, making sure that I can keep myself sane and, you know, having time and space in which to be able to relax, because we both have very stressful lives and we are dealing with a lot on our plates. Being able to, like, come to that point where we can say, okay, we need a moment, we need to take a step back.
Right, right. And I love that. Like, it feels better, you know, even with health and wellness. I feel like people kind of sometimes feel like the doctor, or, you know, like they're measured by the doctor, or they're measured by numbers. But it did feel good just to be able to, like, I'm not a morning person, but to get up and go to be at the gym,
I was proud of you, though. You did. You got up. You would get, I mean, as much as I know that was a little outside your
Girl.
comfort zone.
I was like, I was cussing like the whole way to the gym, and then when it's cold outside, you cuss a little bit more.
Right, right.
But I made it. I
That's
walked
right.
through those. When I opened the gym doors, it was like, ah.
And the funny thing is, like, when you're there, you act like I actually enjoy the workout. I enjoy, like, the friendships that we're developing and the people that we're meeting, and, you know, knowing that you're, like, making your body, you know, stronger and healthier.
Yeah.
There's some things that I'm doing now that, like, you know, a couple months ago, you know, I couldn't do a push-up.
Right. Let me tell you something. When I did that push-up, and I asked our trainer, I was like, can you record me doing this push-up? And I was like, look at God.
Right.
I done got all of this chest up off the floor.
Right.
With these 2 arms, I was like, yes. So yeah, no, for real, that's good. And as far as looking at different areas of success. And then my thing is philanthropy. Is, I love to give. I love to make an impact. And sometimes, like, if my impact may only be one person, then I'm great. You know, my goal is to impact millions, but it's a journey.
Yes.
But I do see, as far as measuring some sort of level of success, is looking at the ability to show up for others. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one thing. I love to give. If I have it, I'm gonna give it. And if I don't have it, I'm still trying to figure out what to give. So philanthropy is good, and that's one thing that I do see, you know, and I want to be measured and held accountable for, even in this journey with all of our, you know, sisters in our community, is and that's something that we're going to talk about in a little bit, is just being able to give.
Right.
And give more.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what prompted us to come up with the whole idea of this podcast. We wanted to be something that's different, that's coming to the community, that's going to provide, that type of value, and something that would resonate with, any woman, whether, again, like we said earlier, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or whether you're climbing the corporate ladder or you're a multi-entrepreneur like yourself, right? Because regardless of what stage you're in, we all experience those same challenges.
Yeah.
One other one that's also good in terms of like just defining success is the creative fulfillment. I'm not a creative person. I'll be the first. So and creativity could mean different things,
That's a lot
right?
of different things.
It could be art, it could be music. I love music. I mean, I think I can express myself through music somewhat, and even I used to perform on stage in college. So that was like my way of being creative. And
So we're going to have to do a whole episode
oh no.
on you performing on stage.
Oh no. And then
AJ, we're going to have her on stage. You guys will meet AJ. AJ is like...
He is a bomb.
Our behind the scenes. We're going to have AJ up here on stage with us. But
absolutely.
AJ, note to self, Phoenix is performing.
What about you? I think you have a really great ability to be creative in different businesses.
Yeah.
And I find that that's such a unique talent, that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Right? So outside of just a normal art, music, and being in those types of creative spaces, it's just being able to create new things out of thin air.
I don't know. Maybe it's a Virgo. I don't know what it is. If it's the Virgo in me, I think for me, you know what? I'll say this. My grandfather was an inventor, and so I think somewhere in the blood of my family, in my bloodline, that it's maybe that's where I get it from. But I'm more of if I see it, and I gotta say I'm blessed with it. If I see something, then I just wanna try it. Because if I see it clearly, then evidently my hands should be able to reproduce it. So I don't know. I'll try it. But then I think a lot of my companies will come from if there's a need. I'm more need driven, and most of my companies it's find a hurt and heal it. Find a need and meet it. And I think that's kind of what I do and then try to figure out how to monetize it.
Right.
And then sometimes the stuff don't work. I just figure it out, and if it works, it works. Most of the stuff works. You know what I'm saying? But then if something doesn't work, at least I say I tried it.
You tried it. Right.
I tried it.
Right.
That way I don't have the sleepless night wondering if it would work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I have friends like you to look at and they'd be like, don't you do it.
We balance each other out.
We do. Except for when it comes to a donut, then
and we'll have to fight.
We'll eat the donut on the way to the gym. We yeah. But I'll say, lastly, it's kind of more of spiritual well-being is really kind of being able to find a quiet space, a safe space to meditate, to, pray, if that's what you do. But just find that time with just being able to get clarity. And everybody should have that.
Absolutely.
Some sort of clarity.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of successful in that is if you're saying, I want to make sure that I can find the time to get a deeper connection with my well-being, with, for me, with God, to get a clear channel, to get clarity, for direction, that would be the spiritual well-being would be kind of like our last thing for defining success.
Absolutely. So, and we could probably find more, right,
Yeah.
elements that would go under the success category. I would love to just kind of take a moment and talk about our Pursuitopoly game.
Yes.
And just switching gears here for a moment. I'm super excited.
Yes. So this part of, so every podcast, before we get out of here, we're going to implement our life gestures and lifeingness.
Lifing.
Lifing and Pursuitopoly. Okay. So Phoenix, let's talk. So this is like, we're gonna do another video just kind of explaining the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to do a quick version of playing this game, and then we'll pick up on the next episode where we landed in the conversation that we're gonna have.
Yep.
So let's roll those dice. You wanna roll them? Now, do you wanna be the airplane symbol? So we have our little airplane symbol.
Yeah, I'll be the little cup here.
You're gonna be it's espresso.
Espresso cup.
Yeah, don't disrespect the espresso.
Miss Virgo.
So let me put you on the go. Can you reach it?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Roll your dice. See, I told you she don't move. All right, 11. You want me to move it for you? Mm-hmm. 1,
Right here.
2, 3, 4.
See,
I'm
like
right
good,
here.
yes.
Okay.
So we
You
landed
on Charity Corner.
Okay.
And that's so dope because we just talked about philanthropy.
right.
So the next podcast episode, we're going to dive into Charity Corner. We're going to talk about Charity Corner. Even in our community, we're going to have something special in the community. So click the link below to join our community so that you can engage more with us one-on-one. We
Yes.
talk more, we laugh, we'll cry, all of that good stuff. But Charity
And-
Corner is where we are.
Yeah. And the community is going to be dope because we'll have different types of gifts. We'll have different types of challenges.
Yep.
We'll have to-dos and tools that our ladies will be able to use and implement in their
Yes.
day-to-day life. Because again, it's at the end of the day, it's all about becoming a better version of ourselves, right?
Yes.
It's all about empowering ourselves and our audience to basically be able to change the game, right?
Yes. 'Cause
Hence-
we are game changers.
That's why we have the name Game Changer. But in all seriousness, we're super excited, everyone, to be here. We're looking forward to having deeper conversations in future sessions, really delving into a lot of the components that we talked about. I think we could have probably spent a couple of hours just talking about what success really means.
Yeah.
And, again, identifying what success would mean for each of us because it could be different. And really also delving into our game, which we're going to be excited to, talk more about on our next episode.
Yes. So, listen, let me tell you something. We have our Game Changer merch. So please feel free to, with our hoodies, with our t-shirts. We have our Pursuitopoly game that you'll be able to snatch, and all kind of little fun stuff that you can wear and have fun with. But as we get ready to get up out of here, any closing remarks that you would like to say for today?
I think the only thing that I want to talk to you guys about is just a reminder that I think each day is an opportunity for us to get up and just recognize that, we're amazing women.
Yep.
In this day and age, there's so much that's expected from us. And just know that we're all in the same boat to some capacity, that we can truly relate to a lot of what our ladies, our women out there are experiencing from a day-to-day perspective. And that's what we're here for. We want to be able to have the opportunity to be able to talk through some of those things with you guys and share what we're doing to help us become better in our lives and our businesses with our families, and be able to share those tips with you as well. So we would love for you to share this podcast with your friends and family, right? Share the word, tell everyone about Game Changer. We're here and we're looking so much forward to spending more time with you guys.
Yes, so as we get up out of here, may faith be your guide, family be your strength, and success be your journey. Until next time, we will see you later. Thank you, everybody.